anyway, and actually we can see that now there's moving towards a privatization of the healthcare system, a push over kind of yeah, see you. Nice one. Kind of yeah, the quality of it is decaying, even education and stuff like that, and that's due to people viewing money as their god. That's what they're following, and their money, their power.
You say the quality of education has dropped.
Yeah,
I mean, people would say that the quality, like the literacy rates.
No.
Education hasn't.
In terms of statistics,
you know, what are people actually learning nowadays? They're learning to kind of go to university to get a good job, to chase the money. Is there a more holistic way, a rounded way? And what are people being educated about? It's all being promoted to people that, you know, all these different agendas being promoted in schools now. It's like the sexualisation of children at a young age. Parents aren't really given those choices. People in Parliament recently protesting about this stuff. Yeah, it all still goes on, and yet people will quote and say, no, but the standard's high.
An interesting thing about that, I would walk past that protest, and there's groups of Christians, Muslims, even atheists, all standing there together. All the cameras were on Brexit. All the Brexit people protesting. They didn't want to see people united against their children being taught this sexual agenda in school. All different groups. They wanted to focus on the division, and that's another aspect. The media is following that kind of.
So, what are your measures for, let's say, prosperity then in society? What do you think of when you say decay? What do you think?
No, I'm talking morally. I'm not talking economically. Economically, we might be doing quite well, but then again, how are we measuring that? I mean, there are a lot of people that are living in poverty still.
Standard of living.
People being homeless on the street.
Yep.
I mean, is that a measurement of wealth? We're in the first world country, say.
Yep.
You've got people walk around London.
Well, homelessness is at its lowest now. Then.
No, it's not.
Well, we'd have to bring up statistics.
You don't have a walk around. These are all statistics given to you.
Well, okay. But I just had a debate with someone about this, and they were showing statistics.
I don't know. To be honest with you, you go down to the Strand. You see how many soup kitchens are down there giving out food to people. You see people sleeping under bridges. See people sleeping rough. It's like the social care isn't there anymore. All that's being promoted now as wealth. You chase the money and look after yourself. Does it not hurt you in your heart when you see people on the street cold?
Yeah. And I agree.
Going without.
Wasn't democracy supposed to fix all that?
Yeah.
I thought nothing to do with religion. I mean, wasn't democracy supposed to fix all that? What happened?
Democracy was never supposed to fix all that.
No, that was the idea. Like, if the people unite and elect a government which will represent them, yes. In a fair way, then all our problems should have.
Who said that?
No, he's right.
That's the whole idea. Do you know what democracy means?
No, but I don't think.
Yeah, it's by the people, for the people, and of the people.
I don't think anyone. I don't think anyone's ever actually kind of logically thought that through and thought.
Really?
Democracy is for the people.
No, they did.
They did in Greek
They did. Philosophers that came up with this.
No, but I'm saying modern democracy now.
Okay.
It's not representative.
Yeah. It's not. Because it hasn't. Yeah. I mean, even the system, the parliamentary system, it isn't actually an effective form of democracy.
So what's the alternative?
Alternative?
Rebuild it. Rebuild it.
No, I don't.
Rebuild what? It's the same thing, isn't it? Because
I don't
rebuild the system.
I don't think.
No, but when you say, you mean re-elect them or rebuild?
Social freefolding where you care.
Yeah, but you know, there's a difference between rebuilding a system and re-electing the representatives. There's a big difference. Which one are you referring to?
Redesign the system.
Yeah, but what is the alternative? That's the question I'm asking you.
Get people to work on the alternative, you know, like we're saying, more social care. Start measuring wealth by investing in communities.
That's what Labour will say.
Allow people to, you know, all this money's going out of all our society.
That's exactly what the democratic values were all about. That's what I'm saying.
That's what they were, but they're not at this time.
Yeah, but right now, you know, whenever there is an election, yes, the same thing. All the parties, they come up with their own, portfolio, manifestations, yes? Manifestos, sorry, not manifestations. Manifestos, which is basically telling them or promising them what they will do. As soon as the vote is down, things change, yes? So even if you have 1 million people gathered here to stop the Iraq war, nobody listened. The whole idea was in democracy is that they listen to the people who elected them. But what happens? You know? So even if you come up with a new system, what is the guarantee that won't repeat?
No, but I don't think there is a system that's ever going to efficiently manage people.
Why is that?
There's too many.
By the way, I heard you were a Christian. What would be, from a Christian perspective, what would be the, what do you say, the solution to this
Well, the ideal system,
societal
the ideal
problem?
System. There's no ideal system.
Not ideal, whatever is works basically. I don't think nothing's ideal in the world. No
But
systems.
it keeps needing to be refreshed.
No,
you
but I
need
don't-
people to come together and to work. It's a work in progress.
I personally
I
don't
think for me
there's
the most
one-
important thing is justice. Whenever justice has been either watered down or compromised, then you have all the issues coming.
And you need
Regardless
integrity.
of where it happens, under whether it's under a dictatorship or even a theocracy or even a democracy. Whenever you say injustice creep in, that is when all the problems arise. So the key, what do you say, the foundation of any system, government system, should be justice
Yeah, but then
above everything
then
else.
the issue is who's enforcing its justice.
Well, justice has to be laid down in terms. Look, I think as human beings, we do, by our own nature, understand what is just and what is unjust. So when you see a child starving, yes, and there is a lot of people, like you said, sleeping rough in our streets, yes, and then when the banks go bankrupt, yes, they got billions of pounds pumped in immediately without any problem whatsoever overnight. If they can manage to bring in all that money overnight for those banks to be bailed out, why can't the same happen to those people who are starving?
Well, this is
They're
what,
their
this is what
friends.
Labour is saying.
They're their
That
friends.
party is
That's
claiming that.
I don't think Labour or Conservative are
It's the
above.
same thing. They're going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
They're going to get elected.
Whenever they are,
go
by the
through
way,
their promises and then
the Iraq War happened during Labour. You see what I mean? So none of them are, like you say, like the real doing the justice
They're all
that
puppets,
that
right?
people.
They're all puppets.
Yeah, at the end of the day, they all have their own agendas. You know, whenever they come, when they come in power, things change. Before they come in power, they promise you the world.
But they're
And this has
puppets.
always been the case.
Behind them, there's someone pulling the strings who we don't get to see. We
Yeah.
don't put these people in the papers. They're the people who own all the media companies.
Yeah.
And we've got control. of
Yeah,
media,
absolutely,
so-
yes. Yeah. But you see, today there is something called the internet, and today with that tool, we can. I think we as people have got a lot of what do you say, advantage compared to our predecessors who didn't have the internet.
Yes,
Yes.
we do.
So
but
you
it's
can have
being
your own
censored
YouTube
now. Have you
channels.
seen it's being censored now?
Well, but there is still a limit, you know.
It's being
There's a limit.
censored
I don't
now.
think everything's been
It's beginning.
censored.
It
Yes.
will. beginning.
They'll start shadow
The gun.
banning people.
Yeah.
So, you know, we've got a little bit of freedom now.
We do,
should
yes.
Use it wisely.
Give examples of how it's been censored. So just so I
Well,
know.
there's channels on
They-
YouTube.
say for
They take
example-
them down.
Yeah.
And YouTube is the dominant platform for thingy.
Yeah.
You have YouTube.
They do. They do take them down. Yeah. I don't have a channel of my own, but basically, yes, I do understand how things work. So if you say something,
Deciding to see
It's
what
owned by
content.
Google.
Yes,
Google
well,
itself
Yeah, I know,
chooses
I know.
it.
Yeah.
They don't like your
Irrespective
promotion.
guidelines.
well, the same thing with Facebook. You know,
Yeah.
Down recently.
same thing. Like Facebook
It's
owns
begun. It's not because
a
it's
huge
not
platform
promoting their agenda.
where people interact with each
People
other,
making notice
and if they don't like something, they can just either ban it or.
Even if they don't explicitly ban it, they could start removing it from people's.
Yes, they can. They have the power. Absolutely,
Do you
yes.
think there is a danger, though, or any danger of having just absolute freedom in terms of anyone can
I don't think there's such a thing anyway.
No, I think
It's a delusion if anybody thinks there is absolute freedom. There is no such thing.
I mean, like censorship, for example. Do you think there is a danger to not
In
censor?
your- in your thinking, you can have absolute freedom.
Well, you can always imagine many things. Doesn't make it real, my friend. I can
said
imagine
you said in your
a spaghetti monster, you know. Doesn't make it real. I can imagine a unicorn. Doesn't make it real.
Maybe it is that every time you have a thought, it is a creation on a certain level.
It's a what? A creation.
Creation on a certain
Oh.
level.
That's
Well,
to
it
be
exists
proven.
in your mind.
Yeah, exactly. We can think of many things, but you look at the end of the day, you know, there are certain things which are objective facts, which are truth, which everyone recognizes, regardless of your background, whether you're a believer in God or you're an atheist or agnostic. Things which, like I told you,
examples.
justice. Yes. Things like
People interpret it differently.
yeah.
that's the-
No.
Some people think. I know. I've met people here that think it's okay for people to be.
Okay, give me something that people think otherwise. You know,
homeless. I know people here.
like
that go,
like freedom of
"It's their own
speech.
fault. Homeless
Definitely.
people deserve to be homeless because they didn't work
Homosexuality.
hard.
That's nothing to do with justice. It's a result of it's a result of what happens as
time
a.
in this world.
Say again?
In mathematics, you got facts like a triangle has three
Yeah,
sides.
those are objective facts. We know that. Yeah.
So, but all these other things, you're right.
Interpretation.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think everything is subjective. There are objective truths. For example, if I told you, I hope you're not a flat earther, but if I told you the shape of the earth is spherical, you know, most of us, 99% of us, will agree. There might be one person who are the flat earthers, they might not agree. That's a different thing.
Because we can
But
measure it.
we do have certain things like day and night. We do recognize those.
But how do you measure morality though?
That's a question.
That's it. Yeah.
Especially as an
Yeah, I know.
especially as an agnostic, you don't have any platform to stand on. At least the atheists, they will say that yes, this is You're on the
I don't
fence.
believe in objective morality. So yeah, you're right.
Sorry, you don't believe in objective?
Morality.
Why is that?
No, I'm saying I accept that contradiction within myself.
No, but the thing is, then you don't accept any morality. If you don't
Well,
if you don't accept
If you're asking
objective
me what I base
morality,
it on, I would say there's only really one thing I can point to,
which is
and it's basically just our lived experience, which is suffering and pain. This is something we can treat as objective. It's not objective because everyone's different, but we all feel pain. We all have a nervous system.
Yeah, but then
so if
you
you're
can
hungry, I know we all feel know
You
that
could
that's
easily
bad.
justify something like incest then.
Yes, you can, and that's
you can justify a lot of
you can
things, not just
justify
incest.
anything,
Yeah.
basically. As long as it doesn't hurt you or hurt other people, that's basically my basis of morality.
Yeah, but
Pretty
say,
much.
but
As long as you're not hurting
But,
me or
but
you're
when
not
you
hurting
say when you say hurting, yeah,
physically or causing suffering.
yeah, but you see, when you say hurting, then you will.
Emotion is suffering. That's pain.
yeah, but
What about adultery?
If it's causing suffering, if
Let's
it's
say-
causing people to feel suffering,
Yeah,
then
but-
it's a
so
problem.
what about if the wife never finds out?
Then it's okay.
Then it's alright.
What if you don't?
You're risking someone suffering.
Yeah,
This is an
you're-
immoral act in
So,
itself.
so it's only if she finds out. That
Yeah,
it's wrong.
exactly. But isn't that the same with all
Everything
the
you do is a risk, though.
everything that is illegal? Unless you're found out, yes, then you're okay. Is that right?
No, not necessarily. In
Well,
your conscience, you're
because
wrong.
no, that's you as a religious person is different to
Yeah,
this
I
gentleman
know,
here.
yeah.
Because for him, his conscience depends.
Yeah,
on
but
it's subjective.
But we still have a level in our conscience of understanding. It's been skewed a bit, but we still do have a level in our
It's subjective, my
conscience.
friend. For everyone, it's subjective.
Yeah, well, of course. But
Right and wrong are subjective,
No, but-
unless and until you have a belief system.
Yeah, no, but we still do have a level with conscious, our conscious.
Yeah, you do have levels, of course. Like
Yeah.
the animals, they have conscious, but they have a different level of
Generalisation with that stuff.
conscious than
You can
us.
have a generalisation.
There are many things. For
people
example,
being
most
human,
people
so-
will recognize that murder is wrong.
Yeah,
You know,
that's what I'm
so
saying.
those things are which we call the universal
Let me rephrase
morality.
that. Yeah, the golden rule. That's what they call it. Do unto others as you would have done to you, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, but
Jesus says this.
but that is not always true in a society. Take abortion, for example. Are you pro-life or pro-choice?
It's a challenge. I don't. Yeah.
You see what I mean?
It's very complicated.
Yeah. So it is not always do unto others as they do unto you.
Well,
That principle doesn't work
killing a
in our
baby,
system.
you wouldn't want someone to do it.
They don't even call it a baby. They call it names like fetus, names like I don't know what are the things they call it. But basically, yeah, to me, it is a potential life. Yes.
If you believe that, then yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. There are many vegans who don't eat meat,
Yes.
but they have no problems with abortion.
Yes.
You see what I mean?
Yes.
Because they use the same argument that before this baby has life, they don't consider it as a baby, as a human. Yes. But then they stop eating eggs as well.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, but that's science behind it. Though.
Science behind what? Eating
A
eggs?
fetus and an embryo are two different things.
Would you eat eggs?
Yeah. But you can't say a fetus and an embryo is the same thing. They're not.
Well, it's a debate.
I didn't say it's the same thing. I'm saying it's potential life. That's the reason I said it's a potential life. Because at the end of the day, I consider it. You know, when a mother is pregnant with a child, yes, even during the fetus state, yes, she will say, "My baby." Your mother most likely said that to you.
Yeah, but that's when it's
That
a
is-
fetus. That's when you can recognize any symptoms of
Yeah,
the
Yeah,
baby.
but even as an embryo, it's still got its own unique DNA. It's still its own life.
Yeah.
It's not
But
the same as.
what about as a zygote then? It's only 4 cells at that point. Would you class
It
that as a
doesn't
life?
matter.
Even
Sorry?
the sperm and the egg.
It's
you
still
know,
but at that point,
It's potential life, my friend.
But what difference does it
Yes.
No, at that point, it's not got its own unique DNA.
But why does that matter? Unique
Because
DNA?
when it's got its own unique DNA, it's now its own individual person.
That's according to
No,
that's
no,
your
no.
opinion, though.
The DNA.
He
at
could
what
argue that the
stage
zygote
it?
is its own.
Okay, say for example a sperm, that's got the same DNA as you. That's yours. That is
The
yours.
sperm.
Yeah, sperm.
No,
cell.
but they are saying to do with life and non-life.
No,
Yeah, we're
but
saying
I'm-
at what point does life?
Yeah,
at what
I'm
time
saying
is
it.
something
I'm saying it
independent
begins at conception because
Sorry,
Yeah.
what begins at conception?
Life.
life brings.
Life begins at conception.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you sure about that?
of? Well, this is a debate. This is the
Debate,
point.
yeah,
We
it's not
say,
your opinion.
when the
That's-
Even
that's-
we as Muslims, we believe that
That's why
after
you-
40 days, the spirit is basically breathed into
Why 40
life.
days?
40 days is the normal process when it becomes
So
sentient.
Would
Okay.
you be alright with taking a day off, morning after pill?
No, I don't support abortion.
No.
I'm saying this
Yeah.
is when we differentiate between life and before life has begun.
So
So I don't say life begins at conception. I don't
so
believe
you're
that.
saying before
what do
40
you-
days.
what do
Yeah,
you
but I'm
believe?
saying
Is it
before 40 days, is it okay to kill the?
No, it's not. I never said that.
But it doesn't have a spirit.
No,
so it's
that's your point. Is that life begins?
I said abortion, as a Muslim, I believe abortion is not something that is a choice unless and until there are exceptions. Like, for example, in certain cases of, say,
Rape.
by rape,
Yeah.
yes, or maybe the danger to the mother's
Yeah.
life, yes. So those exceptional cases, then the ulama, the scholars allow.
What about severe disabilities and things like this?
No, but
No, I'm just asking. I'm just asking because
I don't think that is one of the options unless
like if the child is
unless
gonna
there's a danger to the mother's
I
life.
think the issue with
But anyway, that's again,
I think
there might be reason,
matters
there might be certain difference of
you
opinions.
know what
in
the
that.
issue with that is? You're saying that a disabled person has less of a right to life than an able
I'm not saying that.
person.
I'm just asking.
No, but if you hold that position, that is what you're essentially arguing.
Yeah, of course.
A disabled person has less of a right to life than an able-bodied
And
person.
some people do say that. I think that's a problem as well.
Yeah, that's an issue. But that's
Who has a right to say who's allowed to exist and who's not? Anyway?
God.
Well,
That's that one.
definitely.
So as I think we moved on from the from government to I don't know why, because I think it was to do with the objective and the subjective morality. So you don't believe there is such a thing as objective morality at all?
Well, it's difficult to use the word objective because I'm treating something as if it's objective, but it's subjective. So
Yeah.
for me, it's subjectively objective.
But I think
That
from
makes
your
sense.
from your worldview, there wouldn't be anything objective. Everything is subjective, I think.
Everything is, but we
'Cause-
have a shared experience as humans,
But
and so
it-
there are things I treat as objective because we all
Because
experience.
there are many people think that even our own existence is something which is, what do you say, suspect to
Doubt.
being skeptical.
Uncertainty.
These are ultra skeptics who believe that we are being just some sort of like a matrix we are in, simulation or something
I mean-
that we are in.
I acknowledge my existence.
It's real?
Yeah,
So
so
that's the objective truth?
To acknowledge my existence is
We are. I don't believe I'm just a physical. There is a consciousness, and I acknowledge the consciousness. So for that, I exist. And
So where do you think the consciousness came from? It cannot be observed in a
all I know
microscope.
is that I'm living it, and that's all I can say.
Yeah.
I'm
Neither can
experiencing
emotions.
something. That's all I can say.
Yeah, the same thing in emotion, but the emotions are linked to the consciousness anyway. So,
What is how do you define consciousness?
I mean, consciousness is basically being self-aware.
Self-aware.
Yes, so if you are self-aware, then you're conscious. And that's important.
Yeah. Okay, that's it.
All right, sure.
I'm confused.
So it's important, for you as a person who is agnostic to understand, because you see, as someone who believes in science and say that all these material things are something that can be explained by science,
I don't believe that, by the way.
you don't?
I don't.
So do you believe in metaphysics?
I'm open to the idea that there are things that science can't explain. So consciousness, for example, is one of those things. I don't think science can explain consciousness.
Okay. But do you believe that things beyond physical world, beyond the physical nature of things, like metaphysical things, entities? I don't know.
Possibly.
On what?
I'm not decided either way.
Yeah, sure, no
I'm
problem.
very open to it. I don't think science can tell me, because science has been proven historically to have made many mistakes, and it gets disproven. So
Yeah.
if they do prove in the future that there is beings which are, in our world which we don't see now, then science was wrong at this time. So why should I put all my faith in science now
Yeah.
when it can be disproved? So I don't believe
So what
science has all the answers.
What is the reason for you, if you were to, let's say if somebody invited you to believe in God, what is the main reason you would reject that?
Well, we have to talk about God first. What is God?
Yeah, sure. What is your understanding of
Well,
God?
again, that's a subjective term, God. There's no objective definition of the word.
You can use any other term that you're intelligent designer?
Well, okay, so if you want to ask me if I believe in God, give
Yes.
me your definition and I'll tell you if I believe in that definition. Because
Okay.
a Hindu might give me a different definition.
Yeah, sure. So if I asked you, forget about defining God for now. Let's use our deductive reasoning, yes, and understand how we came into being, how the universe came into being. What do you,
No idea.
no idea?
No idea.
But do you think it came into being by itself?
I don't know.
Is that even possible?
I don't know.
Do-
I don't have the answer, and I believe maybe we'll never find out.
No, but do you think that's even a possible?
have a belief.
I'm not asking you exactly to tell me how it came into being. I'm asking you, do you even think that is a possibility for the universe? By the way, do you believe that the universe has consciousness like the way you have consciousness?
Possibly.
On what basis you say that?
No, I don't know, but I think.
So
I
possibly
think
on
science
what?
is very reductionist, and it makes us look at the universe as if we are the only things which have the ability to have consciousness. But perhaps there's things.
No,
that we
forget
don't understand.
forget science for a minute.
Yeah.
Just based on your understanding of the universe.
I'm gonna smoke it.
That's fine. Yeah. Just based on your understanding of the universe, take the stars, take the galaxies.
My assumption now is no.
That is not
My
conscious.
interpretation of the physical realm right now is that we are the only things with consciousness. We're the only things that can perceive,
Okay.
because we have agency and we can act and we make changes.
When you say we, you mean what? The humans?
Humanity.
What about the animals?
Yeah, I mean, they exist in terms of life, but in terms of their self-awareness, I think it's limited, right?
Yeah, it's not to our level,
Not to our
obviously.
level. Some dolphins, I think, and some animals.
Yeah, but we cannot say they are not conscious. They are conscious, of course.
Sentient, I think. Is the word.
They are sentient, yeah, and I believe everything that's sentient is self-aware, or should be at least.
Perhaps, yeah.
Yeah.
What about a snail or something? Or
Same thing. It's just at a different level, like you said.
maybe, yeah.
So their understanding of their
Yeah, they have
existence.
senses, right? So they
Yes.
can, yeah.
I mean, they
What do you just sorry,
they maybe use what they own. I mean, it's impulse,
Yes.
and their life
Instinct.
instincts is what they basically their whole life kind of revolves
Do you
around.
think about the universe having consciousness? What's
I don't think the universe, like for example, the rock is a part of the universe. Do you think the rock has consciousness?
Nah.
What about the galaxies? What about the planets? Same thing, you know.
yeah, yeah.
But when you say, again, as a Muslim, I would interpret this awareness as well in a different way. But I think sentient is a more what do you say, accurate term in this particular scenario, in this context. Yes. So if we know that the universe is not conscious, and I think most of the things that we know about the universe points towards this. Yes, just like a rock is not conscious, the planet is not conscious. Similarly, the universe doesn't have its own what do you say, faculties to make itself agency to be self-aware, and that's quite important. So if it's not self-aware, then it's very unlikely that it's created by itself. Yeah, that's fine. It's created itself or created anything else. So what are the other alternatives left?
No, this is you're asking the deepest philosophical questions now in anything.
Nobody says it's something that we cannot just go about our life saying I don't know all life. You know,
Why not?
why
What's
not?
wrong with
Because
answer?
okay, let's put it this way. Let's say
Embrace the unknown. Why not?
no, that's not something that's
In
going
fact,
to.
I'll go another level. It's
Yeah.
empowering for me that I don't know. That
Why-
gives me power.
Why does it give you
Because
power?
I'm able to distinguish my own reality. I'm able to make my own decisions independently. And that
No, but
empowers me to
you already
take
know
more
your reality.
But I can take more responsibility for my own actions.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't have to look to any other source, and I'm in control of my reality.
How do you know what you're doing
I
is?
believe that anyway.
How do you know what you're doing is moral? Who decides that?
I decide that.
Yeah, but what if you're wrong?
What if I'm wrong? It's my existence.
It's not your
But I
existence.
have the ability.
No,
I
look,
just have
look
the
here, my friend.
independence to make that decision.
Okay, here's the difference between a person who believes in God and a person who doesn't believe in God. A person who believes in God, he believes in objective morality because his morality is not from himself. So this, what do you say? This possibility of being wrong, hear me out, hear me out. Yeah, this possibility of being wrong from his worldview is something that he will not be responsible for because he believes in a morality which was imparted to him through laws of God because he believes in God. Yes, in your case, the morality changes from different times to different
hold on.
different cultures even.
There's one other point though. If
Yeah,
you
go
also
on.
believe in God, do you not believe that?
No, we're
God-
coming to that. We're
what
coming.
if didn't God decide all your decisions already?
No, my friend, we're coming to that. It's not all your decisions.
I was just talking about
You
moral
do have free will. You do have free will.
God knows what you're going to do.
Yeah, no, you do have free will. It is up to you to act upon that will.
Okay, wait, 1 sec. So when you were created by God,
Yeah.
He knew that you're going to end up in heaven. On
We are going into now predestination, a different topic.
but this is
So let's
important.
let's
More
discuss.
responsibility.
Let's
Okay, what's-
let's discuss first the premises before we understand what God decides and what God doesn't decide, or what God knows and He does not know. You know, that's two different things. So what I'm saying is that as a believer in God, you know, I prepare my life. I try to lead my life as much as possible based on the objective morality that I've acquired from my faith, from my deen, because I believe that is God-given, and God is the one who knows you because He's your creator. He knows you better than anyone else. He knows His creation, which includes me and the world that I live in, better than anyone else. So He knows which laws are the ones that if I obey, which laws that I follow, that will be the most beneficial to me, and the ones that He has asked me to prohibit is best for myself as well. It's just like a car manufacturer or a phone manufacturer. Yes, they know their product better than anyone else. So when they give you a guidebook, that in order for you to take care of your car or your phone, you follow these guidelines, and your car will be basically, last longer or function more, much better.
Can I give you another example?
Yeah, go on.
Let's say I'm not a car manufacturer, right? But I study cars.
Same thing. You have
Same
to.
thing. So what's wrong with me studying the experience of humanity?
No, but when you
Learning about
say-
humanity to decide for myself.
Okay, here's the
what I
thing.
think is right.
When you say you study cars, you still got your information from someone else who knew better than you, right?
Or I just looked at the car and worked it out.
No, I don't think anyone is capable of that. Because if you just looked at the car,
But humanity did this with science.
no, hear me out.
looked at the
If you just looked at a Mercedes-Benz, and you don't know how it functions. It's a brand new car, it's a concept car,
Might take me,
which you
100
don't.
years to do it, but
Yeah,
I
but that's what I'm saying. You have to rely on somebody else's work, and then also there's no guarantee that you're right. You see, you still have to depend. Sorry, you still have to depend on somebody who knows better than you to explain to you how things work, and that is most likely the manufacturer of that car. You see what I mean? Ultimately, it comes to the person who invented it, who designed it. Yes, to explain to you how things work. Yes, to get it
doesn't mean that
to get it
someone can't learn it,
100%. Look, you can use trial and error if you want, but even then, you're not guaranteed that you'll be right. Yes. So, for example,
Maybe
if
there
you
is no right way.
let's say you have
Maybe
no
you can only estimate.
no, let's say you have no clue about mathematics. Yes, is there a possibility that when you explain maths to a maths professor who knows his stuff, that he will actually correct you on many points?
Yes.
Because you have no clue about the subject, and you say, let me try it, let me try to solve this equation. But I don't think you'll be able to solve the equation because you don't know the basics of that particular topic. Yes? And that's why I'm saying you always need someone who is more knowledgeable and who knows better than you for you. Look, even the scientists use this methodology. Yes? So they look at the references of, say, Einstein or someone, yes, to work out their theories, to work out their solutions. And they say, look, if this is how this previous scholar concluded his postulation or his theory or whatever, I'm going to build on that and work from that.
So why don't I use that same principle in philosophy? I say, okay,
can.
religion, for example, and
Yeah.
ancient philosophers, they had some good information.